Meatballs are very versatile and really good value to make. Usually in meatballs you use one type of mince. I'm using some good quality assured Borbia, Irish mince and pork. And the pork gives lovely moisture to it and lovely flavour to it. So we put these into the bowl. One full egg goes in there. Just crack that in. And then some chopped flat leaf parsley. The secret into them is mixing it all together, and the pork gives such moisture but also beautiful flavour. Now we're putting in some dried toast, which we just make into breadcrumbs and blitz it. And this is important because the breadcrumbs holds everything together, binds it, and will stop them from breaking up in the pan. But you could use, if you wanted to, some cream crackers, just blitzed, or some pitted bread, so something a little bit different. And it's a good way of using up if you have them a little bit stale. We're going to mix this in. You have to get your hands in here, mix it all, just a pinch of salt, and just give it a good mix. So the breadcrumbs will just absorb all the lovely moisture from the egg. You can actually knead it together if you want to. You can use different herbs like basil, even a tiny little bit of rosemary would work well, or because you have the pork, some sage would be gorgeous if you have some. The beauty about this mixture at this stage, you can cover it in cling film into a wee container and freeze it, so you can make extra. Now, what I'm going to do is put a little bit of water on my hands. Okay, and this will make it easier for shaping them. So just on my tray, which I've lined with some parchment paper, we're going to shape them roughly the size of a small golf ball. So just place it into the palm of your hand and roll it like that, as if you were making a little bread roll. Now it's better to let them firm up in the fridge so that they're much easier to work with and to cook with. And the parchment paper will stop them from sticking to the tray. So I'll just do 6 of these. Try and have them all the even size, because then they'll cook more evenly when they go onto the pan. So I have already some, which I placed in the fridge, covered in cling film, and let just chill for about an hour. So they're nice, chilled, nice and firm too. What I'm going to do is just put them onto the pan. Just make sure you wash your hands. And I'm just going to heat my pan. Put a little bit of oil in it, roughly about a tablespoon of oil. And then we're going to place our meatballs onto it. What the breadcrumbs does is it swells up and it absorbs any excess moisture in the meatballs. You cook them about 2 or 3 minutes on either side and then turn them over. I'm just going to reduce the pan a little bit, the heat of it, and then turn them over. So we're just looking for a nice little kind of caramelization, and that's what you get from the pork and the mince. A little bit more oil, because the breadcrumbs will do that. It'll absorb, you know, some of the oil and give them a little shake. This is a non-stick pan I'm using. So while they're cooking in the pan here, I'm going to finish off my tomato sauce. We have some diced celery, and we also have an onion diced. So that's already sweated off. Put a little bit of oil. And what that means, just to gently cook. You're not looking for colour, you're just looking to sweat that off. Just cut a little small dice. We call that in cookery terms brunoise, a small little dice of vegetable. I'm going to warm that up. I'm going to put 1 clove of garlic, which is peeled, into the pan. Just crush that in, and then scrape that out there. We're going to add in 1 chilli, goes in there. So remember to wear gloves when you're preparing chilli. Just dice it nice and fine, and just let this cook off. We're going to put in some tomato puree, about 2 tablespoons go into it. So this is for our sauce for the meatballs. And then just give that a good stir. And what we're going to add into this is some passata, which is like sieved tomatoes. And this really gives a lovely depth of flavour. This will be a great sauce even for pasta. Just use the whole bottle, put a pinch of salt and some black pepper into it. Give it another good stir. And then we're going to pour this onto our meatballs. Scrape it out. So when you pour your sauce on, you bring it gently to a simmer, and you let it simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes until your meatballs are just nicely cooked through and the sauce is reduced. In a saucepan, boiling water, we put a pinch of salt into it, and this is for the pasta. So you can use spaghetti or any kind of pasta in that, so I'm just going to cook half the packet. This is dried pasta, so just follow the packet instructions is the best thing when you're actually cooking this. Just keep pushing it down, and then it'll fall into the pot. So bring it to the boil. You want to cook it until it's al dente, which means that it's firm to the bite, but it is cooked through. That's really important. So after 10 minutes, when your spaghetti is cooked and your sauce is nicely reduced, we're going to strain our spaghetti. So just be careful doing this. Just strain it through a colander and just remove any of the water. Just give it a good shake to remove any excess water. And then it goes into the saucepan. And then what I'm going to do is combine just a little bit of the tomato sauce in the spaghetti. About 2 or 3 spoonfuls. Another wee spoonful, I think. Give it a good stir. A little touch of black pepper. We're ready to serve. Take off your pasta. And just arrange them in a bowl. Nice big pile of pasta there. So we're serving 5 of the meatballs. Just arrange them on top of the pasta. And then plenty of the sauce. That's what people love. And try to show off the meatballs there. And then we're just going to finish it with some grated cheese. Just a nice mature cheese. Just over the top. Delicious. And the cheese will melt as soon as it hits the tomato sauce. And then to finish it with some freshly chopped flat leaf parsley. So that's a family favourite that everyone enjoys. It's the meatballs with spaghetti. Check out the full recipe on boardbia.ie. To make lamb koftas, use lean minced lamb and flavour with a little garam masala, ground cumin and coriander. Thread onto the skewers and cook for 10 to 12 minutes until tender, and then serve with pita bread, shredded lettuce, diced tomatoes and a little raita. Remember, the Board BIA Quality Assurance Scheme standards apply across the food chain at farm and processor level.